Welcome back to the greenhouse, and if you're new, welcome. Please hit that like, subscribe, notification bell so you are notified every time we upload a new video. Since we got our new gear for filming, we wanted to cover our aquaponics. So we're going to put together an aquaponics box. I have all the pieces required to get this together. So we've got our actual bell siphon and everything else, the entire thing to get going here. So let's break this down and let's build our own aquaponics. So first things first, you want to find a nice bin, and you can see we've already cut our hole on this bin, and it is maybe 1 inch, maybe 1¼ inches, depending on whatever size you need for your bulkhead, and that is the next piece. So once you get your bin and figure out what depth and what kind of bin, we got these on sale. We picked up like 4 or 5 of these for super cheap. So this is what we ended up using. They're very like ABS plastic or something. They're super heavy duty. So we haven't had any issues with them in the 3, 4, 5 years that we've been using them as aquaponics buckets. So let's break down the first piece that we need here. This is our bulkhead. If you go to the store and you look, this is reverse threading. It always gets me. So this is a bulkhead. Now this was like a 1 inch, 1½ inch bulkhead. So we used this and measured the size off of this. So this is the piece that attaches and puts that membrane there that we are going to put. That is why we put this hole. So you're basically going to see what size PVC you want to use. So this is all up to you. We used 1/2 inch PVC here, and then we used like a 1½ with a 1/2 inch inlet. And this is threaded on the inside. So we've got the matching pieces. So this is the bottom of the actual system. So this will be where it drains out. So you don't really necessarily need a drain tube unless you're running it. So we also use these elbows on the drain, so sometimes we can run the water elsewhere and you can shoot the water a lot further and be able to water another bucket and then transfer it back. So now that we've got the bulkhead situated, you want to make sure you've got all your gaskets. You got a gasket for the bottom and a gasket for the top. So now that we've talked about our bulkhead and how we're using it, let's go ahead and plug it right in the hole here. So this is going to drop in, and then this is going to be the piece that sticks up. It's got a little lip there, so your bell siphon has to fit over that. So this is what the backside looks like here. We've got the gasket going on and then reverse threading. So now that I've got that hand tight, we actually have a membrane that is not going to allow water to flow through it. So we've got this sealed and it is nice and tight. And then the next step to this is getting a piece that goes up. So just like the bottom tube, our drain tubes, the top part of this is also threaded. So you're going to take your PVC, whatever size you use. Like I said, we used 1/2 inch on this, and you're just gonna thread this in here. And that is the last part we have to actually screw into the top of this. So this is the piece that the bell siphon sits right over. And as you can see, we used like 2.5 inch PVC, just enough to get around this, the base of our bulkhead there. So we've got about 1 inch gap between the top of this pipe and the top of our bell siphon. So we use a rule of thumb of about 1 inch or a little bit less to continue the flow and bring that vacuum effect to create the actual flow for the bell siphon. So any more than that and you might not have that actual drawer. It might not be strong enough to empty the tank. So while we're on the top here, I also have the guard. So we have this guard, and this is just to protect when you put your rocks in all around it. It's to protect the rocks from getting into the bell siphon and underneath it and ruining the process or clogging up your tube. Because if you get rocks in the bell siphon, you're going to have to take it apart, or else it's not going to flow up and down like it normally should with the water, and you're not going to have good drainage. Let's check out the bottom. I'm going to put the angled tube in, so we'll be shooting an angled exit pipe here, and that is just super simple. So this is what the drain looks like, and that is just going to shoot at an angle. We can put another 1/2 inch pipe in here and run it to another connection. So now that we've actually built this entire bell siphon in about 5 minutes, Got all these pieces and it's ready to go. You just dump rocks in and it's going to drain. It is a very simple process once you've built this once or twice. So let's set this off to the side here. Let's go check out our actual bell siphon that we have operating right now. So this tank is actually fully full and it was trying to bilge by itself. It took a tiny little shake and you see that water flow down there. It's shooting straight down. Lots of oxygenation and just moving the water. We're filtering it, we're oxygenating it, and we're recycling it, the natural ebb and flow. If I would have let this run a little longer, as you can see, this isn't on and running. It's just kind of pulsing because it's super cloudy and kind of chilly today, about 72 degrees. So just with a little touch, that ended up draining. With a little bit more water, it would have done it on its own with the natural flow. So if anyone's got any more questions on building the actual bell siphon or the whole aquaponics system as a whole, there's lots of pumps you can use for this system. We've got several pumps here. Trip and fall. We've got little tiny pumps, so this is just a very small pump, flows maybe 100 gallons per minute at the most. And then we've got our larger pumps that flow about 600 gallons per minute. We've got an orange pump down in the bottom of here. Ooh, lots of algae on it. And it's flowing maybe 300, 325 or something like that gallons per minute. So we've got a lot of different flows and we downsized that one so we didn't need such a big pump to pump all that. That was just an experiment on our part, which another cool experiment we got coming is this little hydroelectric generator. So I stuck a little light in the end here where it came with a fitting. I can just cut these wires and wire it to whatever I want. It doesn't have a whole lot of juice, but it's enough to light up that little light, and this is basically what it was for. It was for like putting on like a shower or something. So I have a ton of water always flowing, so if I can just kind of harness a little bit of that power and reinvest it or even charge something up with this little hydroelectric generator, that would be very interesting. I've got two of them, so I'm gonna see what I can do with those. And before it gets too long, I'm gonna let everybody go. And like I said, if you got questions on this aquaponics system or setting them up, we have done this 100 times already, and I've taken this one apart a few times. So like I said, it's very simple once you get going and understand what's going on with it. So getting your hands dirty, experimenting with it, and just building the darn thing is the best way to do it. So reach out to me with questions. I'll definitely answer those questions. And I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing and following along with our channel.